Fantasy Football Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to Planet Sky FF, the world where everything revolves around £50,000. My name's Suj.
And my name is James.
We ain't winning that £50,000 now. I think I've accepted that I'm not going to be winning £50,000 in Sky Fantasy Football this season.
Or next.
Maybe next. You never know. But I think the importance of starting well and not forgetting captains and all that kind of jazz.
Oh, you didn't have anything like that this weekend, did you?
No, but my captains forgot. He needed to score me points. I didn't forget to set them. They forgot. But funny old weekend, which I ended up on only 35 points after the weekend.
Oh, where are you now?
62.
Oh, okay.
Crept back a little bit thanks to Dean Henderson and Baldock, De Bruyne's assist. But I captained Raheem Sterling again after seeing the starting lineups. And
last night you're talking about.
Yeah, last
night. So we should probably clarify, we are recording on Wednesday morning.
And releasing on Wednesday as well.
I'm releasing on Wednesday, just for anyone who happens to catch up on Thursday or Friday and thinks, what's going on here?
So I'm up to 62, which is a rank rise overall. And I've still got, obviously, 4 games left to go. And I didn't make any transfers at the weekend, which means I've stored them all up, which means we're all steaming into Liverpool any second now. How was your week so far? Where are you up to?
It's been bang on where I was at, really. I'm on 80 points for the game week, having already made, well, technically 2 transfers, because obviously those who listened last week when I was debating this plan to throw Todd Cantwell in, and to get the 5 Liverpool I wanted, I would have to do it before the end of Thursday. And I did say I'd mention a brief story. So I transferred in Cantwell for Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Having seen, obviously, injury. Started the weekend with a 3-5-2. Yeah, no good midfielders in this game. James has got 5. And panicked, didn't I? Because it says transfers for the week, 1 of 5.
Made.
But I read it as in that's my first one. So I was already raging.
Okay.
So I jumped into the WhatsApp group chat with the boys, and I was like, lads, what's happened here? It says I've already used one. And the guys were like, did you use 3 earlier this week? I was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, see you later, newbie.
So you're saying there's 1 left out of 5 because you'd made 3 already.
Correct.
Right. How many have you got left now? 21 still.
I'm on
21.
something like that.
Yeah. And you're planning on making a ton now into
I'm on
Liverpool.
21 left with 4 to go this week, in my opinion. I've already made 1 this week, having watched Watford and Spurs on Saturday and seen Ismail Assar holding his hamstring towards the end of the game. I decided, obviously, to get 1 Liverpool win on Sunday ahead of schedule, having obviously been in a position where I had 9.9 million in the bank following that Rashford to Cantwell move.
Yep.
Of course, I picked the wrong one. I went Sadio Mane. Mm-hmm. I do own VVD as well. My plan now is to make 4 transfers Thursday night, which will be Pereira, De Bruyne, Vardy, and Abraham to Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Salah, and Firmino.
I messed up on the weekend in terms of I didn't pay as much attention to the footy as I should. I had a move planned for Ismail Sarr to VVD, and had I been paying attention on Saturday, Sunday, I could have made it and picked up the extra points from VVD. But now the 2 players that I'm moving on are Sarr and Rashford, because they're obviously injured. I didn't feel any panic or rush to do them yesterday because I'm moving them on for Liverpool players, and Liverpool don't play till Thursday, so there's no jump on jump off strategy for yesterday's games or tomorrow's games. I'm not wasting transfers on that. I own Sadio Mane and Trent, so it's very easy for me. Ismail Sarr is gone, and in comes VVD. Marcus Rashford is gone, and in comes Mohamed Salah. I would love to sell Sterling and bring in Firmino. I'm 0.7 short. And I don't.
You've
think
obviously
it's
got
worth
money hanging about already to
4
do
million
Sarr
at the
to
moment.
Van Dijk.
4 million at the moment. I don't feel I'm going to make that move to bring in Firmino ahead of Wolves. I mean, I need to make 2 transfers to justify that
Could
one
you
player.
Go Sterling to Robertson? Does that work? It's probably still a little bit short, isn't it? How much did you say you were short?
Only 0.7. No, I could do
I
Sterling
think
to
that's
Robertson.
right, isn't it? Isn't Robertson 10-2 and Firmino 10-9? That's
That
your
would be
exact money, isn't
that'd
it?
be bang on if you are right there. So let's have a look.
Man, I'm mere a week, pal.
Van Dijk, Robertson is 10-2, correct.
So you could do it exactly spot on. Do it, mate.
Yeah, maybe have. Yeah, I really wanted to triple captain Robertson in main FPL. I'll be honest with you, but I didn't in the end.
Okay. So we're all firing into Liverpool. One of the things I think now we're here that we need to debate very quickly. Well, firstly, let's just cover the tonight games, the Wednesday nights. Obviously, I think so many of us were really desperate to captain Marcus Rashford tonight as the differential having not gone early on Liverpool assets. And that's obviously been a big blow for those who hung about on Rashford. I can't believe there's too many on Son or United or Spurs defensive assets. I mean, there's nothing to do here but captain Jamie Vardy tonight, is there?
I don't own Jamie Vardy, so there is something else to be done. I only own Suj and James Maddison. So it'll be Maddison probably more than likely that I pick.
I think I'd be keen to go that way at the moment just because Leicester having little bits of frailties. I have to say.
And I think we'll be playing on the counter today, and we are better on the counter. So there's a chance that we can nick a goal. I don't expect to come out with any points, but we could potentially hurt them on the counter attack. And also our set piece delivery from Snodgrass camp is all right as well. I was going to say Anne Cresswell, but Cresswell on Saturday took the worst corner that I've possibly ever seen in the history of watching all football. Okay. It was a straight side foot pass to an Everton defender who was on the edge of the box. Worst corner I think I've ever seen. No, really. But Maddison, I think, is the man for me today as my captain.
I would go, Maddison over Sionku. There's been a lot of frustration with those of us who own, and the majority of us will probably own something in terms of Leicester defensive. What I would say on Sionku is 6.2, man. He, in terms of value, I think he's still second best in the whole game for his points returned against his value.
Yep.
So no major concerns. Suj is playing around with his team. Suj, you cannot go 5-2-3.
No, I know. I have to go 5-3-2. That's how maths works.
Don't look at Liverpool midfielders, man. It's a waste of time.
They're too expensive. Far too expensive. Couldn't afford any other than Curtis Jones.
If you already stocked up on Liverpool, I don't know. Let's say you're in a position for whatever reason your front three at the moment is Salah, Mane, Rashford.
I know what you're going to say, and the answer is no. But go on, ask the question.
Heung-min Son.
To buy
and captain him tonight. Also potentially gives you a captaincy coverage on that Sunday, the last weekend before the overhaul.
Yes. I mean, do you have a captain coverage for that? You were talking about Leno, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to go Leno.
Who... Not for me. I think everybody owns Kevin De Bruyne, and Kevin De Bruyne gives you captaincy coverage on that Sunday. Yeah, if you're one of the people that has no City assets, then by all means, it's not a bad shout to give you captaincy coverage across 2 days. Even if you can't afford Son, even Lucas Moura or one of those guys, I think is a good shout. If you have no captaincy coverage that Sunday and you have no plans of bringing any City players in, then you'll get 2 games out of them. So it's not a bad shout.
2 captaincy games as well, worth saying, potentially, if you were to go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, Norwich and City, I don't know if that's a good captaincy game. But
not for me, though. I would still prefer to go on Leicester assets tonight at the moment. I just got no trust in what Spurs will do.
Yeah, Maddison and De Bruyne give me that coverage. I'm fine.
I covered on our Tottenham podcast yesterday. I do not see us blowing Norwich away this evening.
No.
Now, captain...
Especially, I think the other thing is, looking at all of the results from yesterday, the first thing I did was pull up that table, and the way that it's all bunched up now with 3 teams on 23 points, 2 teams on 25. Yeah. For Norwich now, like the motivation to, if they can pick up 3 points today, it's a big if, but if they can, and they jump to 20 points, then they're within touching distance of everybody. That means 1 game and you could be out of the relegation zone. So the motivation for Norwich tonight is massive to be able to pick up 3 points. I think it's going to be a very, very, very tough game. For you to score early will be so important today.
Next 6 for Norwich, just worth mentioning, and possibly for people who might be considering, say, Todd Cantwell at his value in the Overhaul. Next 6, obviously Tottenham away this evening. Newcastle away the weekend before the Overhaul, come back to Liverpool at home, Wolves away, Leicester at home, which would potentially get rescheduled if Leicester make the League Cup final. Sheffield United away.
Tough.
Then Southampton, Everton, Arsenal. So they're the ones that look like they could get cut adrift.
Yeah, I mean, their fixtures are bad. I was really looking over my shoulder yesterday thinking, I do not like the look of this table right now.
Bournemouth and Villa turned it up again last night, didn't they?
I really do not like the look of the table right now, but I mean, what can you do about it?
Anyway,
Nothing.
that's a different podcast.
We just got to win our games in hand, and it's only away at Leicester and Liverpool. Should be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine, mate. Yeah, all right. We're not considering West Ham assets. That's what you was going to say no to, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought you were going to ask me,
No,
should we, if we're maxed out on Liverpool and you got a bit of money spare, double game week, get in West Ham? No.
I really don't. I'm not feeling it.
No, there's nobody there that's worth considering. But on regular
captaincy tomorrow, we need to discuss. Because it's all right having all these assets. Who do we actually captain?
I might go defensive.
There's a massive temptation for
tier points. VVD's reliable with the tier points. Trent maybe tier points, but possibly an assist or an attacking return.
2 clean sheets in these next 2 games, and there is every chance that in 8 days' time, Virgil van Dijk will be the highest scoring player in this game. There is every temptation. You know, Wolves tonight, that's another one. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
It's another one. It's an absolute lock for the passing tiers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lock, again. Yeah. You know, with the way Wolves will set up, they'll want to counter-attack, etc.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely see that temptation. For me, as I've said on numerous other podcasts, I think Wolves might get something tomorrow night. And therefore, I'm going to go with one of the attacking boys.
There's a lot of people
just need to work out if that's going to be Mane or Salah. I think I'm going to go Mane, you know.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Mane's football and what he's been doing on the pitch, but not from an FPL or Sky Fantasy Football point of view. He's running around, he's tracking back a lot, he's getting in and around, but he's not really clinically in the box finishing. I still prefer Salah, if I'm honest with you. But
the benefit of Mo is the potential of more shot tiers, etc. than Mane. I think I'm going to go, particularly that one tomorrow night. I think Mane. I think West Ham might be different next week once we've got. But that's probably more one I'd look for Salah. Actually, I think
potentially
just different styles of opposition, maybe.
Yeah, true.
Whichever one you go for would be wrong anyway. That's what we always say.
Yep. So, should we look at some of these questions that we've had in on Twitter as well? So let's see what happens. It'll be an interesting time now. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a sign on Twitter yesterday. Number of people that 6:30 deadline yesterday screwed up, and then had in that last 20 minutes bought Robert Snodgrass or another West Ham asset. Had my face in my hands. I was like, whoa. That just smacks of lastminute.com desperation.
This is definitely a Planet FPL podcast conversation. You wait till I tell you who my wife has bought.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not doing that now.
Yeah.
Let's do some Sky Qs.
Let's not. I'm still shitting myself because I went with Trent, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Right. Quite a few questions on Leicester. So we've got Heskibos conquering the world still, probably in the top 100. What are your plans for Leicester players after the overhaul? Same questions coming in from Dav at Davlar1234. Is it time to ditch the Leicester boys in the overhaul?
I think for me, Syunku is a certainty still.
It's just cheap, 6.2 or whatever he is, right?
You start looking I was looking at, say, Southampton. You start thinking, should I approach this sort of thing from a different perspective? All the Southampton defensive guys are more expensive. All right, they've not had a great little run. Perhaps there's a little bit of uncertainty with the January transfer window and rumours about people like Ben Chilwell and the like. But they're the third best team in this country for a reason. Everybody is struggling defensively other than Liverpool at the moment. Mm-hmm. And how many times a couple of months ago we all sat there and went, Liverpool can't keep a clean sheet, and look at what these Leicester guys are doing. There were guys who were going treble, quadruple Leicester at the back in this game. So at 6.2, Syunku's great value. Even through this, like Pereira at the weekend, 4 points again in a bad performance. It'll do, won't it?
Yeah.
Ties you over. So yeah, not ruining out. I think attacking wise, different. My instinct right now is probably not. It's going to really depend, and this is the sort of thing we'll cover more detail next week because we'll have some more information. in terms of whether that Norwich-Leicester fixture of match day 28 gets postponed or not is going to have a major bearing influence, because obviously if it stays on, and particularly if it stays that Friday night, you've got 2 potential Leicester Friday night captaincy options, and you've got to take that into consideration. So again, on Overhaul, not thinking too much. TV fixtures for March should be announced this coming Friday.
Yeah,
we don't expect them. There's no word. It's Wednesday now. There's no expectation from many of the supporters, trusts in the know that these fixtures will be announced late. We should get them Friday. It's something we can next week really plan in. The information of the FA Cup 4th round, the draw for the 5th round. So much information to learn. But I think Siyunku,
Siyunku's a lot.
Can't argue it at 6.2.
I feel like Vardy's going to be in my post-overhaul team as well.
I think he might be in mine as well.
Madison, I think, will be gone, though. I think I'm going to end up with some slightly cheaper midfielders in maybe the likes of Grealish and what have you. But I think Siyunku and Vardy will still be in my team post-overhaul.
Jack Grealish averaging me over the 2 fixtures this week, 8 points over the 2 games. Last night, no attacking return, man of the match. I said that about him, and they play well. He's probably still going to pick up the man of the match.
Agreed.
So you get a circumstance like, he scored at the weekend, doesn't get man of the match, doesn't score last night against Watford, gets man of the match. He's churning points now. He's the man now. He's decent. Is 7.9 Jack Grealish?
Yes.
7.9. Yeah, I think he's one who's going to be in a lot of teams post-overhaul. I think there's a lot of regret for people who held on John McGinn longer during the season. I think we're probably all a little bit guilty of that, those of us that had John McGinn, because that move in hindsight should have been happening around about match day 8, really.
Yep. Hornet FPL, we've had a little chat about this because we talked about captaincy on Thursday. VVD, the most reliable Liverpool captain. He's nailed, bonus point magnet, set piece threat, guaranteed at least 10 points with the armband. I'm going to be going with VVD more than likely on Thursday, and I'll probably stick with him against West Ham as well. I think I'm just going to keep it safe with VVD. 10 points with the armband, I'll take that every time.
And what I can say is if he's fit, when I start picking that Overhaul, I'll start with him.
Okay, so that leads us very nicely on to the next question coming in from Mark Wright, at Mr. Mark Wright, with underscores in between everything on Twitter. Which 4 players are nailed for your Overhaul team? Goalkeeper, 1 defender, 1 midfielder, 1 striker. Defender, VVD, we're both on that straight away.
Yeah, I think Siyunku as well. Really difficult to go without, I think.
Midfielder, Kevin De Bruyne's still staying for me. He's just so consistent. He could have picked up attacking returns in any game. I think Kevin De Bruyne will still be there for me. I think so,
because it's the easiest one to leave the coverage of Manchester City, isn't it? And obviously on that first weekend after the Overhaul, they have West Ham at home on the Sunday, so you're 100% going to want some sort of City attacking coverage, and he will almost certainly cover that off. So I think, Kevin De Bruyne up front.
I'm going to say Aubameyang for me.
Do you know what? That's what I was thinking as well.
I want him back. He's served me well in this game, and I do want him back. Arsenal were impressive again yesterday. Just the work rate, like we haven't seen an Arsenal team willing to put the shift in.
Must be said though, either at least one of Mane or Salah will be essential.
Yes.
Even if that is a case of you're going Aguero on that first weekend and moving to it for the second weekend, for example. That first game week after the Overhaul, if I can use that over the 2 weekends, Salah or Mane will be an absolute must with coming back to Norwich away on the Saturday.
It then comes back down to why you need to find a few compromises in your midfield, because Aubameyang, Salah or Mane and Vardy is costing you a pretty penny with Van Dijk and Kevin De Bruyne. The rest you do need to scrimp and save a little bit here and there to save a few quid. So Ben Miller, would Sky FF be more competitive if they allowed international players? Will gambling laws allow that? So firstly, obviously, yes, it would be more competitive because you'd have a ton more players. But I don't think gambling laws will allow that.
No, it can't happen.
No.
Can't happen.
Well, I mean, they could release a version of the game with no cash prize.
Well, that's the fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's why people gravitate towards it a little more than FPL for sure.
I think so.
And play a little more seriously than taking punts on random stuff. So, FPL Canal, haven't heard from him for a little while. I hope he's doing all right.
Hello, Neil.
Have to get you on a
Miss
show
mate.
at some point.
Neil
Yeah.
will be at FPL Canal. It's a good one for Sky listeners to follow, actually, because Neil has a very unique way of posting numbers, particularly on teams and certain individuals, which is quite unique. At FPL KERNOW. I can say Neil will be on Planet FPL in March.
Lovely, jubbly. How far post overhaul will you be planning? If you're looking to make up ground, would you go with differentials or just go with the obvious captain picks?
We don't know.
I know I'll be planning up until the end of March because we'll know the fixtures. I'll be planning as far forward as I know the televised fixture schedule.
Yes.
But probably not massively beyond that.
Well, beyond the March announcement will be match day 32. Mm-hmm. So that's deep in the season, mate.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're coming into, match day 31 is going to be blank. So you've got to remember that when the TV fixtures coming out, the very last scheduled weekend of TV games is the same as FA Cup quarterfinals. So you might have a postponements there. So you've got to be cautious of that sort of thing if you're going to plan that far ahead. So I probably would plan for the week before and then just factor in match day 28, which is obviously potentially the Carabao Cup finals, but you'll have the information of what the final is before Overhaul's kicked off. In terms of chasing on differentials,
I don't think I will be massively because I've got so many transfers left. I think I can maneuver and make transfers to bring in players that are not differentials, but the mainstream.
For me, this whole game is
up.
a learning experience this first year. So it's the sort of thing I'll probably be able to answer better again in May. I'm not best placed to answer it. I suspect if you're chasing, you want to do something different, but doing something different might be staying with and then attacking with more transfers in April, for example. There are other ways of being different rather than just picking Salah has less ownership than Mane, for example.
Yep. If you had the choice right now, would you rather have 20 transfers left and have a rank of 10,000 or have less than 10 transfers left but be in the top 100? I've tweaked Tim's question a little bit there.
I would 100% want to be in the top 100.
Top 100 with 10 transfers and defend your position rather than be chasing right now. I think I'm with you on that as well. For sure.
Yeah, you would just pick more of a set and forget, wouldn't you? You would certainly plan. I would take the opinion of I would try and pick a team honestly to match day 30 where I didn't need to make any transfers.
Yep.
And then you're only moving it for injuries and that.
Anyone else? There's a
high ownership players and block.
There's quite a few. A lot of these questions here now. Just having a look around about the overhaul. Any players catching your eye that you think would be in your post overhaul team that isn't currently?
Well, one certainly to mention returned last night, and no coincidence that they kept a clean sheet in Aymeric Laporte.
Yes, a lot of people are asking about him.
It's obviously expensive. He's certainly one for the passing tiers at City. One to keep an eye on. Definitely that you've got a few games of information with Manchester City, with FA Cup the weekend, League Cup next week, Premier League game against Tottenham before Overhaul to get information on fitness. Worth saying, obviously, they played 3 at the back again last night. There was a lot of reports for anyone who didn't watch the game that it was a back 4. It wasn't. It was a back 3. And the one thing with him is the reliability of the starts. That said, if they go further adrift of Liverpool, there isn't anything for them to play for in this league.
No.
And the pressure has been for a long time on them to go and win that Champions League, particularly with Guardiola. So it could be they'd hold him back for Champions League games. Quite possibly. But I think he's one possibly to start with. I would just probably favour, if I was going to go that way money-wise at the start, I'd just rather have that investment in Liverpool.
10.3 million, Aymeric Laporte. Alexander-Arnold's cheaper. Robertson is 0.1 cheaper.
Laporte's reliability, like Van Dijk, he will absolutely hit the passing tiers. Did he hit it last night, do you know?
That's a very good question. Let's have a look and click on his passing tier 2, clean sheet, and starting 11.
He will too.
10 points straight out of the gate. In the first game against West Ham, passing tiers, and in the third game of the season against Bournemouth, passing tier 2, passing tier 2. So in all
Well, Brighton, he came off early
Yeah.
in match day 4.
Yeah.
So in 4 games, he's played it, passing tier in all of them.
Yes.
There you go. I mean, you take that consistency of solid, even if it is without the clean sheets, a solid 5-5-5-5-8. He's obviously also capable, like Van Dijk, of getting the odd goal from set pieces as well.
Yep. I think there'll be quite a bit of Sheffield United in my Overhaul side as well.
Yeah, Sheffield United, definitely. The question we had before, we didn't really answer goalkeeper, did we? I think Dean Henderson would be it, wouldn't it? Most
6.4, he's straight in. I'll be sticking with Baldock.
What an error of me to get rid of Henderson for Leno. Thinking as well, I want Henderson for that Man City game. Of course, penalty save.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Lovely job.
I don't know why Kevin De Bruyne's not taking penalties for Man City. Guardiola said last night, didn't he? He said the best best penalty taker is Edison.
Yeah, not for me. I think from a Sheffield United point of view, it'll end up with Henderson, Baldock, and probably Fleck at 7 million. I think is a decent enough option there.
He might be. John Fleck might be one who we've never really spoken about. 7 million, is he?
7 exactly.
Cheap. Lundstrom $1 million shorter. Wouldn't be overly concerned. He didn't play last night. There has been feeling amongst Sheffield United supporters that his performances have dipped, which, having played so little football last season, shouldn't overly be surprising.
No.
He offers great value still at 6 million. Yeah, Sheffield United, definitely ones we'll be looking at from the start. There was an interesting question, Suj. I don't know if you can find it because I can't remember who it was from.
Sure.
It was in relation to how would you manage the first 2 weekends after the overhaul if you're still in the cup, which I thought was a really, really interesting question because it was something that I hadn't considered myself. So one of the things we've looked at, that first weekend, there's 4 matches. So there'll only be 4 matches in the physical game week, if you will.
I have the question here. Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, go for it.
On, then. Is there a certain way you should cover the 5 split days after overhaul with the knockout cup and the spread in mind? Like 2-2, 1-2-2, and make a transfer possibly? Or do you go by have ex-Liverpool players and try and fill in the gaps with the budget to cover the tricky days? So I don't really know much about the Knockout Cup. Is it a daily thing?
You're not going to read out that handle?
At Awesome Adzibe.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Adam Robinson is far easier. Thanks, Adam. Good question. One of the things I was thinking...
Is the Knockout Cup a daily match day thing or game week thing?
It's week, isn't it? So it's the same. It runs Friday to Thursday.
Right.
So in that Friday to Thursday...
The first week, you got 4 matches and then 6 in the following one.
Correct. Now, it's also worth remembering your opponent's probably not going to have too many players either. But particularly if there's a dead team, you don't know. They might be knocking about on like 3 or 4 Sheffield United defenders, for example. And I think for those who are further away, like me and Suj are, the cup's worth... You're out, aren't you?
I'm out.
All right. For James...
I don't even know if I was... I don't even know if I was in.
It's
that's
worth considering the cup a little more.
No, I'm in.
Are you still in?
Am I? Win. This is in play. Yes, I'm still in. I beat him 176 to 151.
If you're going to fire into Liverpool,
I beat
you're
him
probably going to be
94
right as
and
well.
43, 62 to 54. Freddie Martin, whoever you are, Pepe Pig. I'm winning at the moment with 62. Yeah.
I think the point is those who've got absolutely no chance, like me and Suj, of winning the 50,000. The cup is worth keeping an eye on. So, yes, you're certainly going to want some good coverage of a captaincy option on the first game day, which is Brighton, Watford, Everton, Palace. I think Richarlison, if he's back fit's the obvious one. And then probably a little bit more spread of Man City, Sheffield United than you might have anticipated. So that's one where I was talking about treating it as one weekend and not moving, say, Aguero to Salah, because you're only getting the one Aguero game, for example.
Yeah.
It might be one where you think, no, actually, if I'm going to try and push for this cup, if it looks especially dodgy on the Saturday, you might think, oh, yeah, I'll do it, you know?
Yep.
So that's a really interesting thought process. For those who are not top 1,000 or so, I wouldn't give the cup too much of a second thought. Go for the big one.
Exactly. There we go. A couple more game days left before the next round of fixtures. Then we've got a bit of a break. So when we're back next week, we'll take stock of what has been game week 24 in Sky and start prepping ourselves for that final weekend of fixtures before the overhaul. It should be nice and interesting. We'll know exactly where we stand with all the Liverpool stuff as well.
Next week, we'll talk very much in terms of the mapping of the fixtures. I'm quite good for that sort of thing. We'll have the information. We'll map that out a little bit better in terms of how that looks. And then obviously during overhaul, we will really look into players, the sort of guys we should be considering. and then we're in it.
Exactly
Into
that.
the final stripe.
Brilliant. Guys, thanks for tuning into Planet Sky FF, our weekly show where we look at Sky Fantasy Football in a little bit more detail. If you are playing Sky Fantasy, you've got any mini leagues, do share the show with any of your Sky FF playing friends. Tomorrow, we'll be back with Clash of the Correspondents, a championship special this time around.
Planet EFL.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll be talking, if you're a Sky player and you support a championship team, well worth a listen tomorrow.
Exactly. And then we'll be back on Friday with the full episode of Planet FPL.
Yep.
Running down the midweek fixtures. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man child. Good luck, everyone.
Messi, ancora Messi,